Hi guys, on this episode we listen to the general explaining to the commission as to how the task team, the political killing task team came about. According to the general, there was a lot of political leaders' assassinations in the KZN province. Politicians were assassinating each other for leadership positions in order to have influence over tenders corruption. We'll also hear that the task team did not yield any fruit. Politicians continued to assassinate each other for leadership positions. That is when the president intervened by establishing Interministerial Committee, IMC, which is comprised of all law enforcement agencies or the security cluster, all of the ministers of the security cluster coming together to form a committee that will deal with the challenges of the political task team.
How the political killings task team came about, under what circumstances, when, and then we will subsequently look into its operations once established. Thank you. So if you could start on the establishment of the task team itself.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. We know that the province of KwaZulu-Natal, historical, that has been a problematic province with regard to political violence, which dates back to the days before democratic South Africa. And that problem remained, although it had subsided prior the establishment of this team, but it started rising again, and we started seeing the leaders of our country being attacked in different levels, which then necessitated an intervention from the SAPS and the executive in terms of trying to mitigate the threat of attacks to our political leaders. And we know of the task team that was established back in 2018. But this political killing task team has its genesis in a previous task team that was established back in 2011. And this was done following the resurfacing of the killings, as I said, in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, which was dominant at the time. And these killings in the province of KwaZulu-Natal had led into the establishment of, or the provincial government in KwaZulu-Natal, establishing a Morane Commission of Inquiry, which was established in 2016 by the Premier of the province, Premier Willis Mchunu. And when this team started at the time, 2011, to look at specifically on cases that are involving the political leaders in the country, and with the aim of making sure that at least they can bring the perpetrators of these crimes to court.
General, you referred to intra-party killings. Do you want to please explain that?
Commissioner, in the main, in 2011, we saw the different political parties applying or employing different strategies in terms of the employment of their candidates for different political positions. A typical example, it has been a well-known practice in the country that for one to become a councillor, he has to go and campaign. And through that competition of campaigning, when people vote for you, become a councillor. So the same when you become a mayor, executive mayor, same rule applied. But when that strategy changed by the political parties deciding of who should be a councillor, who should be the mayor of the municipality, it became a conflict amongst the members of the same political party, where one person will have enjoyed the majority from the society, wanting to elevate that person to the position of being a leader of society in that particular locality. But the executive of the political party will take a decision that, regardless of popularity of that individual, but they choose another person to appoint as a leader. And the one who's popular, of course, will feel aggrieved, and the fights then started within the same political party. So that is basically what we're trying to communicate here, Commissioner.
Please continue.
Thank you so much. So the Morane Commission, which then was established, did confirm that these many assassinations were linked largely to corruption within local government, especially tenders. So you could imagine the one who is in position of authority as a political party leader or as a leader of society has some kind of influence over the issuing of tenders. And the business people that want to get tenders, they will always be friends with the one who's got an executive authority over that municipality or different provinces. And as a result, that corruption became the center of these incidents of threats, attempted murders, as well as murders. And the key recommendations that came from the Commission is the one that brought about the creation of independent structures, which include having a designated focus from the South African Police Service in terms of investigation of these cases. And that's why then the South African Police Service responded by creating a team. But, Commissioner, that did not stop. We then saw more of those incidents happen up until 2018, when the President of the Republic decided that the efforts from law enforcement, being the South African Police Service alone, or the Minister of Police at the time, guiding or directing the interventions to try and mitigate this type of crime. It was then important from the President's point of view that the police must not work alone. Therefore, the police must put the efforts together with other ministers within the cluster in order to be able to have a focused intervention in terms of trying to mitigate these incidents of political violence, if we were to call it. And as a result, in 2018, the President of the Republic appointed an interministerial committee, which we refer to as an IMC. I want to emphasize again, Commissioner, that the President of the Republic appointed an interministerial committee, which we refer to as an IMC.
Well, I thought it would be a bit challenging before, but ever since I met 3 lectures, so
An interministerial committee, which we refer to as an IMC. This committee constitutes of different ministers within the cluster. That will include the Minister of Police. It will include the Minister of State Security. It will include the Minister of Defense. It will include the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, and the different entities that are within the security cluster were also represented, including state security. So all these ministers, they form that which we refer to as an IMC. And the Minister of Police was appointed as the chairperson of the IMC. So it was the IMC that was mandated to relook at how best can the law enforcement, together with other agencies within the criminal justice system, can put a best possible solution to the incidents of political violence as it was experienced then.
Before you move on, General, if I may, at your paragraph 53, you highlight the reasons for why, in part, the President elected to implement a different approach, which is through the establishment of the IMC. Could you highlight what were the challenges with the task team then, as established from 2011, that informed the President's thinking to establish the IMC to address the same issues that the task team was engaged with?
Where a late Mr. Aman Swart was killed while he was in his vehicle outside the workplace. What we understand is that the subsequent to that shooting, which was involving the Transnet contract, it seems to have involved organized crime, and to some degree it had involved police corruption, which had posed risk to the investigation team that was dealing with that incident.